So, hello and welcome back. It's a rainy day, and I kind of forgot that I had to have a chapter of Heidi for tonight. So, I am recording this a couple of hours before it's supposed to be up. Bad Christine. You know, I do that all the time, though. Not gonna lie. Sometimes, especially in the winter, it's really easy to get ahead on videos, and when I'm doing a bunch of like going out and blueberry picking or out in the garden or anything like that, it gets harder and harder to get videos uploaded because I don't want to sit still. And uploading videos means I have to sit still, especially if I have to edit them or sit down and read a chapter. So, with any luck, I'll be able to keep up my schedule. But if I'm ever a little bit late, 1,000,000,000 pardons. But now we are going to be jumping back in, and we are going to be reading a chapter of Heidi by Johanna Spyri, and we're reading chapter 5, which is titled Two Visits. The winter passed quickly, then the summer, and the new winter was drawing to a close. Heidi was 8 years old, and twice Peter had brought word from the school teacher in Dorfli that she ought to be in school. But each time the Almuncle had sent back word that he did not intend to send the child to school, and Peter would faithfully deliver that message. One sunny March morning there was a knock on the door, and when Heidi opened it, she saw an old man dressed in black. "You must be Heidi," he said kindly, holding out his hand. "Where's your grandfather?" "He is sitting at the table carving round spoons out of wood," said Heidi, opening the door. This was the old pastor from Dorfli, who had knew the Almuncle years before. He stepped into the hut, went to the old man, and said, "Good morning, neighbor." Grandfather looked up in surprise. "Good morning, pastor. Won't you sit down?" "Thank you. I have not seen you for a long, long time, neighbor." "I haven't seen you either, pastor," was the answer. "I came today to talk with you about something. I think you already know what it is, neighbor." "Heidi, go out to the goats," said the grandfather. "You may take a little salt along and stay with them until I come." Heidi immediately disappeared. "The child should have been sent to school a year ago," the pastor went on. "The teacher has sent you word about this several times. What do you intend to do with her, neighbor?" "I do not intend to send her to school," came the reply. The pastor gazed with surprise at the old man as he sat there with his arms folded, looking determined. "What are you going to make of the child?" the pastor asked. "Nothing. She grows and thrives with the goats and the birds. She is well enough with them and learns no harm from them." "But a child is neither a goat nor a bird. She is a human," whose pages get stuck together, "being. If she learns no harm from those companions, neither does she learn anything else. I've come to tell you now, neighbor, so you may make your arrangements during the summer. This is the last winter that the child can spend without instruction. Next winter she must go to school every day." "I shall not do it, pastor," said the old man. "Do you really suppose that there is no means of bringing you to terms?" said the pastor, somewhat warningly. "Indeed," said the old man. "And does the pastor suppose that I would really send a delicate child on icy mornings through storm and snow down the mountain, a 2-hour journey, and let her come back again at night?" Possibly the pastor can recall her mother, Adelheid. She used to walk in her sleep and have ill turns. Shall the child, too, be made to suffer such a struggle? Let anyone try to compel me."
"You are right, neighbor,"
said the pastor in a more friendly tone.
"It would not be possible to send the child from here to school. But I can see that she is dear to you. For her sake, do what you should have done long ago. Come down to Dorfley and live once more with human beings. What kind of a life is it up here, alone and embittered towards God and man?"
The old man shook his head. "It is not for me to go down into the valley," he said. "The people down there despise me, and I despise them, so it is better for both that we remain apart."
"No, it is not good for you," said the pastor. "Believe me, make peace. Ask for the Lord's forgiveness if you've done wrong. Then come see how differently people treat you."
The pastor rose and held out his hand.
"I count upon this, neighbor. Next winter you will come down and live among us again, reconciled."
"The pastor means well," said the alm-uncle, "but I cannot do what he expects. I shall not send the child, neither will I come down myself."
"Then God help you,"
said the pastor, and sadly left the hut and went down the mountain. Alm-uncle was out of sorts. In the afternoon, when Heidi said,
"Now let us go to grandmother's,"
he said curtly, "Not today." He did not speak again all day, and the following morning when Heidi said,
"Are we going to the grandmother's?"
all he said is, "We shall see." Before the bowls had been put away after dinner, another visitor came. It was Aunt Dita, wearing a fine hat with a feather. The uncle looked her over from head to toe and said not a word. Aunt Dita began to talk, just as though she was saying a speech that she had been rehearsing. She tried to flatter the uncle by saying Heidi looked so well she hardly recognized her. It was plain to see that the child had fared well with her grandfather, but Dita said she must be a great deal of trouble, and that Dita had come to take her away. "I have such good news for Heidi, I can hardly believe it myself," she said. "Some wealthy relatives of my mistress, who live in almost the finest house in Frankfurt, have an only daughter who is obliged to sit all the time in a wheelchair because she's lame. She has to study alone with the teacher, and this is very dull for her. Besides, she would like to have a playmate in the house, and the housekeeper told my mistress that they were looking for a nice, unspoiled child. And of course I thought of Heidi at once, and I hurried over and told the lady all about the child and her character. The lady has engaged to have her come, and it's a wonderful piece of good luck for Heidi. If she pleases the people, and anything happens to their only daughter, you know that her only daughter's sickly, and—" "Are you ever planning on finishing?" said Alm-uncle, who had not spoken the entire time.
"Bah!" said Dita. "You act exactly as if I had told you the most ordinary thing in the world. There isn't a single person in all of Pratigau who would not thank God if I brought such news to them."
"Take your news to anyone that you want. I'll have none of it," said Uncle. And Dita went off like a rocket.
"Well, if that's what you think about it, Uncle," she said, "I will tell you what I think. The child is 8 years old, and you will not send her to school or to church. That they told me down in Dorfley. She is my sister's own child. I have to answer for what happens to her, and when a child can have such a good piece of fortune as Heidi, I won't give in. There is not a person down in Dorfley who will not help me. So you take heed if you don't care to be brought in front of the court, Uncle. There are things that might be brought up which you would not like to hear. For when a man once gets into a courtroom, many things are hunted up that he's forgotten all about."
"Silence," said the uncle, eyes blazing. Take her and be gone. Never bring her into my sight again. I never want to see her with feathers in her hat and words in her mouth like you've said today." And then he strode out of the house.
"You have made grandfather angry,"
said Heidi, black eyes snapping. "He will soon be fine again," said Aunt Dita. "Where are your clothes?"
"I'm not coming,"
said Heidi. "Oh, come along. You cannot imagine what a good time you're going to have." Aunt Dita went to the cupboard and took out Heidi's things. "Come, put on your hat, for we shall have to hurry."
"I'm not coming,"
said Heidi. "Oh, don't be foolish and stubborn like a goat. You must have learned it from them. Listen to me. Your grandfather is angry. You have just heard him say that we must never come into his sight again. He wants you to go with me now, and you must not make him more angry. You haven't the least idea how lovely it is in Frankfurt, or how many things you will see there. If you don't like it, you can come back here. Then the grandfather will be happy again."
"Can I come back again tonight?"
"Oh, come along. I tell you, you can come home if you want to. Today we will go as far as Mayenfield, and tomorrow early we will get into the train. In that, you will be able to come home again in no time. It's just like flying." Aunt Dita took the bundle of clothes on her arm, and she took Heidi by the hand, and they started down the mountain. Just as they passed the goatherd's hut, they met Peter coming from school. "Where are you going?" he said. "I am hurrying to Frankfurt with my aunt," said Heidi. "But first I will go in and see the grandmother, for she's expecting me today." "No, no talking, it's too late," said the aunt, holding the struggling Heidi by the hand. "You can see her when you come back, so come along now." And we have a picture of this pretty struggle. Whereupon Aunt Dita dragged Heidi off and would not let her hand go. She was afraid that if the child went into the hut, she might refuse to leave, and that the grandmother would take her part. Peter ran indoors and beat on the table with his fist, making such a frightful noise that the house trembled. Grandmother sprang up from her spinning and cried out,
"What is the matter, Peter? What makes you act so wildly?"
"She took Heidi away with her," said Peter.
Where, Peter, where?"
cried the grandmother, groping towards the window. She guessed what had happened, for her daughter Brigitte had seen Dita go up to the Almuncles. Trembling in haste, the grandmother opened the window and called out,
Dita, don't take the child away. Don't take Heidi away from us."
The two of them heard the voice, but Dita took a hold of the child more firmly than ever and ran as fast as she could.
"Grandmother is calling. I want to go to her,"
said Heidi, pulling away. But her aunt pacified her by saying that they must hurry on to Frankfurt, and if Heidi wanted, she could bring grandmother a present. This pleased Heidi, who began to hurry without any more objections.
"What can I bring home to the grandmother?"
she said after a while. "Something good," said Aunt Dita. "Some lovely soft white rolls will please her, for she can hardly eat the hard black bread any more."
"Yeah, she always gives it back to Peter because it's too hard for her," said Heidi. "All right, let's go fast, Aunt Dita. Maybe we can reach Frankfurt today and I can be back with rolls by tomorrow."
Heidi began to run so fast that Dita could hardly keep up with her. But she was very glad that she went so swiftly, for they were coming to the first houses of Dorfli. Heidi pulled so hard at her hand that everyone could see that she had to hurry to keep up with her. So when people tried to stop her and ask her questions, Dita merely said, "I can't stop now. The child's in such a hurry. We've got a long way to go." "Are you taking her away? Is she running away from the Almunkel? It's a wonder the child's still alive. But What rosy cheeks she has. These remarks came from every side, and Dita was glad not to have to stop and make any explanations. Heidi didn't even seem to hear, just pushed on in greater haste. And from that day on, the Alm uncle looked more ill-natured than ever when he came down to Dorfley with his cheese basket on his back. He spoke to no one as he passed through the village on his way down to the valley to sell his cheeses and lay in a supply of bread and meat. He looked so wild, with his thick brows and his enormous staff, that people said that his grandchild had been very lucky to escape him. They had seen how she had hurried away as if she were afraid the old man were coming after to bring her back. The blind grandmother was the only one who stood by the Alm uncle. She always told everyone who came up to her house to bring spinning or to get yarn how good he had been to the child, and what he had done for her and her daughter. So, this information did reach Dorfley, but most people said that maybe the grandmother was too old to understand, for she could no longer hear well and couldn't see at all. Alm uncle himself showed no more at Peter's hut. It was a good thing he had done such a good job on the repairs, because it remained for a very long time untouched after that. And not a day went by that grandmother did not say, "Ah, the days are so empty without the child. If only I could hear Heidi's voice once more before I die." And that is the end of the chapter. Not gonna lie, kind of happy that that one was a little bit shorter, considering I have to get it uploaded and everything else in like an hour or two. So we're not gonna do much afterthoughts, except boy oh boy, Aunt Dita is a piece of work. We're gonna go with piece of work. And I think everybody should just shut up and leave Alm uncle alone. Obviously, he doesn't want to be around people because people are, well, they're people. You people. Anyway, my sympathies are firmly on the Alm Father's side. So thank you as always for listening. Please do hit the thumbs up on your way out, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully.